Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. We're talking He-Man Revelations, Part 2. I'm here with Skeletor, aka Gary, aka Bossman. How you doing, mate?
I'm alright.
And I'm his arch rival, he's Zam, and I'm doing fine too, before you ask. So, we finally got the second part to this particular saga. We were left on a cliffhanger with Adam being stabbed and what we initially thought at the time was being killed by Skeletor, who then was able to take on the sword and channel the powers of Grayskull, and he became Super Skeletor by the end of it. And he starts doing terrible things to the city within Eternia. I forgot the name of the city. Is it called Utopia or some shit like that? But yes, we see Skeletor starting to change people into sort of demons and stuff like that. But prior to all of that, Adam, he gets initially rescued by, let me just remind myself, Teela and Andra.
Yeah.
And Teela, obviously being the daughter of the sorceress, channels her mystical, magical powers, so to speak, that she inherited from her mum, and is able to heal Adam's wounds. So, were you expecting something like that to happen?
Well, yeah, because the thing is that they weren't going to kill off Adam because like He-Man is basically the main character of the show. I mean, the thing is that I kind of like this for a couple of reasons, but I'll get into. But I like the fact that they managed to get away from Skeletor and everything like that, and it was just like I thought this was, as I said, like because we're going to get into the two parts. I thought this was more action packed, but I don't know if that makes it better. And I'm having to decide in my head whether it's better or not.
Well, I think what upset a lot of people with the first part was that it wasn't really about He-Man and Skeletor that much, but I appreciated that we have all these fantastic characters in this universe that never gets a chance to shine because it's always about He-Man and Skeletor. So having other people step up to the plate, I very much appreciated, because He-Man and Skeletor wasn't hogging the spotlight for several of the episodes in part one. And in part two, we got to know more about Adam, which was fantastic. I mean, Adam has always just been this fringe character who is just there to say the powers of Grayskull, and then we're just following He-Man, and we saw Adam for a large part of this particular part. Got to understand him, got to know him, and once he healed up and Skeletor realized that he hasn't killed him off, we see a very unusual moment, and a moment I very much appreciated. Adam calling down the powers of Grayskull without the sword, and then we saw like this version of He-Man that was like, he reminded me a bit like, he looked a bit like Sabretooth from the X-Men, and he was absolutely like caveman-like as well.
He was a bit like the Hulk a little bit.
And a bit like the Hulk as well. And he just went absolutely ape shit. He was muscular and mad and crazy, and just started to beat the shit out of Skeletor. Skeletor was trying to outsmart him, and even though he wasn't the sharpest tool in the book, he was very difficult for Skeletor to deal with. This sort of like this Neanderthal rugged He-Man. This is He-Man who hasn't got the, I can't think of the words right now, but he hasn't got, because he hasn't got the sword in his hand when you call down the powers of Grayskull. He's got all the powers, but he hasn't got all the control. So he's just out of fucking control. Did you like that? Did you like those scenes, Bossman?
Yeah, because the thing is that it showed that like he doesn't need the sword. The sword is just like directs the energy, directs the power that's inside him. And I like the fact that he turns into this mindless brute of a creature, but it still has the want to do good, and he beats the crap out of Skeletor.
I'm not sure if he had the wants to do good, dude. He knows who his enemies are, but he killed an animal just in cold blood. Remember later on. Do you remember that when they were in the forest of Eternia? I don't even think he was eating; he just killed it. And then he was going after his dad and stuff. But Tila, she's got these powers now, and she was able to transport them to another part of Eternia where the king is hiding, and she obviously takes He-Man with them. And one thing I liked about this, actually I'll get to that a bit later, but He-Man goes with them, and He-Man now is out of control in the forest and stuff, and they're chasing him down, and he hears the horns or whatever of the man-at-arms guys, or the King's Guard, so to speak, and he starts running after them and stuff, and he just wants to beat the fuck out of everything. And yeah, this is very much Hulk-like, out of control Hulk for sure. And what I liked about this scene, Bossman, was he finally gets to his seat to get to his dad, and he's being restrained by everyone by all these man-at-arms guys, and his dad gets to his heart, gets to his head by hugging him. His dad was going to get killed by him, man, but his dad hugs him, and Adam is able to take control again, and he's no longer Beast He-Man, he's now fucking Adam again, which was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, this second part's all about discovering who Adam is, because we've all known, because again, before, as you were saying before, he was just like a conduit to become He-Man. He didn't really have a character. Whereas here we get to figure out that that actually He-Man is kind of an extension of him. It's what he is inside, if that makes sense. And I like that. I like the fact that we get that character development for him. And I'm going to say this now, and you're probably going to go, this whole series, and I mean 1 and 2, is easily the best He-Man thing they've done, because it deals with the fact a lot of really deep concepts about like who is a person. If we transform, how much of us is left? Even if we become this, powerful, unstoppable, most powerful man in the universe, who are we inside? Is that essentially, is all we are is the powers we wield? And there's so much here about that Adam is, himself, a powerful person. He doesn't have the physical strength or speed or endurance that He-Man does, but he still has power. He has intelligence. He has, he has the fact that he knows.
He's still He's still the same man. He's just without the strength.
Yeah,
he's always been that guy. He's always been He-Man, just without the strength, which is what I like about it. We cut to Also, I just want to mention that he also, like, the mum comes back, and you do remember the mum's from Earth. She was an astronaut.
Yeah.
From Earth, yeah. And I like the fact it made me realize that He-Man is half. He's 100% human, but he's half Earthling, which is pretty cool as well if you think about it.
That's good.
Yeah. So anyways, we cut now to the bad guys, and Skeletor makes Evil-Lyn his sorceress, which is a nice little touch, don't you think?
Yeah, like it was just good to see that, because Evil-Lyn's always been like sort of like, she's like the second in casting ability to. I mean, to be honest, like the thing that I was kind of dreading was when he appears in the sky like flaming. I'm trying to think what it's like flaming, like
like a deity.
Like a deity, and then he says, "Hey, I'm going to make you all see my way," and then all of a sudden he does this flaming. He does whatever he does, and then all of a sudden you see like this purple liquid, and it turns people into skeletons. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of zombies, but it wasn't really zombies. It was like the army of
Demons.
the dead. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
army of the dead sort of thing, and I kind of like that.
And we lost two more characters. The guy with the iron fist. Yeah, I remember when he saw Skeletor, he goes, "I really want to fist him." I was like laughing my fucking ass
No,
off.
fist. That character's called Fisto.
Yeah, I remember Fisto, but he mentioned that I really want to fist Skeletor. I started laughing my fucking ass off when he said that.
But you know that they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
But unfortunately,
they're leading into the sort of like gay undertones that the original had.
Yeah. He-Man is very, very homoerotic without a doubt. But unfortunately, we lost two more characters because a lot of people, were killed off during the course of this. We saw Man at Arms as well. He's like in jail, and Skeletor was trying to get to him. He hasn't been asleep for 30 hours trying to fight off this tentacle monster. And he also has a chat with Evil-Lyn as well. And Evil-Lyn she's become almost like a sympathetic character to a degree through some of these episodes because she seems to be somebody who came from nothing, who had these magical powers, rescued by Skeletor, but in a way she's almost become a bad person because of her debt to Skeletor. And we found out a lot about her in the first part where she was working with the good guys trying to save Eternia, and we find out more about her in the second part too as well. And she's a bit of a con artist, and I found it really strange when it came to the realization that when you're the sorceress, you're actually more powerful than the wielder of the sword. You're like the boss of the wielder of the sword. Like Skeletor shouldn't be the boss of her; she should be the boss of him, being the sorceress that she's now become. And I found it really funny that she seduced him and they were making out and he's got no fucking lips. They're kissing. He's a fucking skeleton face, boss man. You're frozen, by the way, mate. Hope you're going to come back soon. But I found that quite hilarious that Evil-Lyn was seducing Skeletor, and I think Bossman will be back in a second. And they're making out, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you kiss somebody with no fucking lips? But nevertheless, Lena Headey, she's got such a lovely voice, and she really makes Evil-Lyn a very sexy character, and she portrayed the seduction very, very well. So I can understand, Skeletor falling for it to such a degree that he actually relinquishes his power just to get laid with Evil-Lyn. I wonder if, like, the rest of him is all skeleton as well. Like, instead of like a penis, he's just got like this bone. I don't know, but once the seduction works and she puts Skeletor on his ass, Evil-Lyn grabs the fucking sword and then calls down the powers of Grayskull. And so we see a third character now, He-Man, Skeletor, now Evil-Lyn, which was a real good twist in my opinion, call down the powers of Grayskull. And we see this super fit, rock hard abs version of Evil-Lyn. She's got short hair now, and she's fucking.
She's got the blonde hair. She's got that horn crown above her head. I thought she looked.
Yeah, she's got a necklace which goes around her neck but doesn't touch her neck. Yeah, I noticed that too. And she's like super buff, super fucking buff.
She looks so cool with that.
And she's like the sorcerer. She's like a combination of, like, it's like the sorceress calling down the power of Grayskull, which was absolutely fascinating. And now she's taking on she's taking on Adam and Skeletor. But Skeletor actually does a meeting with He-Man. He gives himself up so they could come together to take on Evil-Lyn, who's now become the new threat, which is fascinating as well. Prior to all of that, by the way, I like the fact that we had some real life consequences to the death of Adam, because Adam's parents were going to break up, if you remember, because of Adam's death, or they assumed that he was dead. I mean, his mum was talking about going back to Earth and shit, because sometimes, unfortunately, is that if you do lose your child, your partner ends up just being a reminder of your child, and it's really difficult to move on. And I can understand that. So Adam coming back was the saving grace to their relationship, and I really much appreciated that. But now Adam and Skeletor have to come together, which I found a bit corny. Adam and Skeletor having to come together. You can't trust him.
It's a little bit corny.
Yeah, fair enough. But with Evil-Lyn, it's gonna like destroy everything. She's like able to channel anything and everything, and she wants to, I don't know, not only destroy everything, but is she trying to start the slate clean? I have no idea what her ambitions are, but she wants to destroy everything for a start. And this is where Teela comes into play now, because she has to be the sorceress. Like they need their own sorceress to go up against this super sorceress with the power of Grayskull and Evil-Lyn. And Teela then, and by the way, Man at Arms is free as well, but he uses he makes friends with the octopus fucking creature to set himself free. And we saw obviously earlier on when Teela was a baby and Man at Arms was a young man, and the sorceress going on to become the sorceress. We see that process, and then obviously Teela follows it. But there is a price. If you become the sorceress, you can never leave the castle Grayskull, which was an interesting price to pay to save everybody. But because of I like, this is where I got a little bit confused, Bossman, and maybe you can make some sense of this to me, mate.
Go on.
Somehow, because she wants to be friends with everybody, she was able to break these bonds of being trapped into the Castle Grayskull, and she's able to exit it.
Yeah, that was a little bit confusing, because I thought the whole point of being a sorceress is that you're bound to the castle because its power is yours, sort of thing. No, it just felt like it's a little bit of, well, we don't Teela to end up like the sorceress, so therefore, and we want her to maybe get into a tie of like a love triangle with Adam and maybe Angela, or what her name is.
Andra. But I thought they might have had something going on, in the first part, but I never felt like this sort of like relationship with them in the second part. And the funny thing is, what I tell people is that sometimes you can be really close to somebody of the same sex as yourself, and doesn't mean you want to fuck each other. You can have a really tight, my best mate Ray, I've known him for over 20 years. We're really close, really tight. I've never wanted to fuck him. You know what I mean? We have really close moments together, really tight bonding moments together. We've hugged each other really tight. We've been very close to each other. We shared the fucking same bed as each other. I've never wanted to fuck him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I know what you mean, but like,
and obviously this is not saying that I have anything against that, but you can be really tight with somebody of the same gender as you, and it doesn't have to be a relationship. There's nothing wrong if it is, but it doesn't always have to be. And I like the fact.
Also,
yeah,
you could be really tight with somebody of the opposite gender and not want to fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way, like Teela's relationship with Adam and Teela's relationship with Andrea, or whatever name is pretty much that. Andra is pretty much that. She's friends with both of them, and there was never really any hint that there was anything more than that. I mean, there was a little bit near the end regarding Adam and Teela to a degree, but we see Teela basically, go into those waters, embrace the powers, speak to her mum's dead spirit and shit like that, and now she's like a fucking sorceress herself. I mean, it was always her destiny. And then Adam finally, through some trickery and stuff like that, is able to grab hold of the sword and call down the powers of Grayskull, and he becomes He-Man again. And he also shares his power with Skeletor, as well as Cringer, who becomes Battle Cat.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, in a way, invoke to Skeletor, look, I'm going to try and make you a hero. You know, it's a good thing. This is the goodness of He-Man. He's trying to. It failed, but he tried to make He-Man. He tried to make Skeletor a hero for a brief moment, like be a savior, help people, and stuff like that. You know, see it from a different perspective. It was a good idea by He-Man. It just unfortunately never pulled off. But I also like the fact that even though he's now He-Man, they were still calling him Adam. You know, he's in He-Man form, but Teela and everyone else was still calling him Adam. You know, they weren't calling him He-Man anymore. You know, because he's fucking Adam. He's just Adam who's now buff. You know, and I very much appreciated that as well, because I want to see that more in the future. Like, if you know who he is, He-Man is just a moniker. He is still Adam, and I want him to be called Adam from now on, whether he's in Adam form or He-Man form. So yeah, I very much like that. We saw some great epic fighting outside the castles of Grayskull. Like the whole of Eternia got together because they were able to send a message out to everybody, weren't they, to come and fight this massive battle. And so the whole of Eternia got together. We got to see classic characters like Ram Man, you know, which was pretty cool to see him. We saw that Bee guy. We saw that Hawk guy. We saw all these characters. And yeah, they're having this massive battle against all of Evil-Lyn's characters. And Evil-Lyn is setting out all these demons and shit to fight everyone. And we're also seeing Evil-Lyn fighting the sorceress. Now, did you mind that it was like a kind of bait and switch to a degree? Because that's what I've been seeing from some people. Like, a lot of people were upset that Skeletor kind of got demoted and he never ended up being the main villain. It ended up being Evil-Lyn. What do you think of that? You're on mute, by the way.
Oh, sorry. No, that's fine. It was just good to see a different perspective, because the thing is, it's always been Skeletor, but even Skeletor has his weaknesses. You know, that Evil-Lyn could try and seduce him and stuff like that. You know, I mean, even though, but I think both of us would agree that, you know, how are you going to try and get on with a bucket of bolts? You know, even in the kids show. I mean, like, yeah, and the thing is that, you know, and the thing is that it was good to see that aspect of it. You know, that he, you know, that she was, you know, almost going to destroy the universe, but like, you know, Teela managed to stop her, and you know, we got to see that Teela is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than He-Man is. So there's no equilibrium. Oh, if I can speak,
equilibrium.
Yeah, between the two.
It was pretty cool seeing Beastman turn into like the evil version of Cringer. Yeah. Which is interesting. And he kind of like Beastman had the hots for fucking Evil-Lyn, that's for sure, man. You know,
she's a beautiful woman with power. You know, what's not so like.
And what I liked as well between regarding her fight with Teela is that Teela was trying to get into her head. No, like Teela was trying to not necessarily beat her down with strength, but just try to, you know, come to a diplomatic or basically a verbal ending to this. And then she finally got into her head, you know, and told her, like, this is not the way to go. I can't really recall too well what she said to her, but it was something to do with the vision of the snake and the bird to that degree. But whatever she said, it fucking worked. And not only did Evil-Lyn stop fighting, she relinquished her powers as well. You know, and by doing so, everything came to an end. But we still have Skeletor, who's in Super Skeletor mode. And also, by the way, we also got the underground Skeletor, the underworld Skeletor, come out as well. He was fighting, but he got fucked over pretty quickly, which was nice to see. But Evil Skeletor, Super Skeletor, he does one last backstab on He-Man, you know, and then He-Man just said it. What we've all been saying, it's not always about you. You know what I mean? And he punches him to a fucking oblivion. Punches him so fucking hard that he fucking like disappears over the fucking horizon. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You know, and I thought this might be the end of Skeletor. I thought he was going to die, but he didn't. But it was a good epic battle at the end. It made me very emotional. Like I really, prior to the epilogue, seeing all this real progression of stories, characters lost, characters reborn, so to speak. Characters with newfound knowledge. Characters who've moved on from what they once were to something else. It was great. Now everyone knows that Adam is He-Man. It's not a secret anymore. you
Yeah.
know, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go with this, if they go with this. And I'm very happy that they're going with this because this secret identity malarkey is only for the DC universe, if that. So now that He-Man and Adam are known as the same person, I'll be looking forward to seeing that. But we also ended with Skeletor back at Snake Mountain.
Yeah.
He's now regular Skeletor. And Triclops and his gang of fucking artificial intelligent fanatics manages to grab Skeletor, and this sort of being, this lady who we never saw in the previous part, comes down and injects her fucking terabyte DNA, so to speak, into Skeletor, and Skeletor starts to transform. We don't see him fully transform. We don't know what he transforms into, but
yeah,
it ends with Skeletor kind of being defeated in an alternative way. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him in the future. But they've left it open for a part 3, which is what I want to see. I want more of this. And I very much liked Mark Hamill's Skeletor in this part more than the first part. He really started to feel like Skeletor in the second part, and I really liked it. I can't wait for more. This is fantastic. I fucking loved it. I don't care if it's fucking woke. Fucking, was it made well? Was it
written well?
Was it written well? Was it portrayed well? Did it make you emotional? It made me fucking emotional, dude. It made me fucking emotional. I loved it. I loved it so much, and I can't wait. I'm so happy to come back with these guys and follow them again after all this time. I'm so happy that the story's moved on, and it's progressed to this level. I couldn't get enough of it, and I was almost left teary eyed, and I can't wait for part 3.
I don't think there will be a part 3, but I think there will be this part. There might be another another 2-part where maybe like He-Man, Quest for Power or something like that. It was something like that.
No, but this robot woman is going to be like the new villain, and because her powers are not magical, they're science based. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. We're going to start seeing now Teela in a new role as the sorceress, so that's going to be interesting as well. Maybe Man at Arms retires, and maybe Man at Arms dies, of old age or whatever. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because we've got a new Man at Arms now with the Andrea girl. She becomes the Man at Arms, which is I feel a bit sorry for like all these other guys who've been working around the king for years, and this new girl gets the fucking job. You know what I mean? Are you telling me one of your other guys couldn't have become a Man at Arms? But nevertheless, she gets the job. Obviously, Duncan's become as a different role now. He's probably a bit more diplomatic now. He's using his mouth more than he's using his fists.
Can I just say that Leon Cunningham is really, really good at accents.
I had no idea it was him, by the way. He was so good. I mean,
the thing is that because I think in real life he's like Irish, but whenever he's on the screen, I can never tell, and that is something that because I've heard people try and do accents, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like I saw a film the other day. Right, and if I describe this to you, you think I was making it up. So basically, what it is, set in Ireland with Elmy Blunt and Jamie Dornan, and the guy playing the father is that very famous Irish actor Christopher Walken. And you should hear his Irish accent. It's the worst Irish accent I've ever heard in my life.
American men are not very good at doing accents. No, I don't want to put all of them in the same bracket.
There's some that's good at doing
American women are very good at doing accents. Very good.
Denzel Washington's English accent is pretty decent when I've heard him do it.
His South African accent was very good as well. There's a few actors. I've always thought Sean Astin's West Country accent in Lord of the Rings was fantastic as Samwise Gamgee. I'm thinking to myself, this guy was in fucking Goonies, and now he's like playing Samwise Gamgee, and he's knocking out the fucking park. His accent is so spot on. You know what I mean? When I think of like decent English accents by American actresses or actors and actresses, I think of Angelina Jolie. I think of Gwyneth Paltrow. Renée Zellweger was so fucking good, in Bridget Jones's Diary, so fucking good. And then you see people like your favorite actor of all fucking time, Don Cheadle, and his and his English accent in fucking
right. That accent is the worst accent of all time. It literally goes through
in the Ocean's movies.
In one sentence, it'll go through different continents. It'll go through the Caribbean, then it'll go through Australia, then it'll go through certain London suburbs where it'll kind of touch on it. Again, I have tried to replicate it for like how long that film is now? 20 years now?
The first one's about 20 years, quite easily, yeah.
Yeah. So I've tried to replicate it, and I can never get it because it's something like this. It's a Barney Rubble to the I can't even do it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's so bad. How do you do when you're English? How do you do a bad English accent? For us to do one.
I've heard people do it. I've heard
English accent.
I've heard people try to do Johnny Hart from Newcastle, and it's quite bad.
What's his name? The guy from Lucky Number 11, not Bruce Willis, the other guy.
Oh, what's his name? Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, something like that. He played a Northerner. He was doing like a Yorkshire accent in this one film. He had oh God, what's his name? Hans Gruber.
Oh, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, yeah, had him in it, and they're basically playing this like sort of hairdresser in Yorkshire, and they're going for a hairdressing competition. Alan Rickman's his mentor and stuff. His English accent was absolutely awful. Shia LaBeouf tried to do an English accent, absolutely fucking awful. And Kevin Costner didn't even attempt one because he was probably absolutely fucking awful in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So yeah, but nevertheless, we've come to the end of this. I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I can't wait for some more. The animation on Netflix, I have to be honest with you, is really good. There's so much good stuff on Netflix at the moment when it comes to their television shows, their adult animation as well. There's Arcane League of Legends, which I highly recommend, Bossman. Worth watching. There's a new show coming out, which I want to review eventually, called Super Crooks, which is basically about super villains. Is made by Japanese animators, so it's anime, dubbed in English, of course. Very, very good, adult orientated as well.
Was by Mark Miller.
Yeah, and like Netflix is really killing it at the moment. Like some of the stuff they're bringing out is fantastic. By the way, Cowboy Bebop it seems to me that only me and you like it. Everyone else seems to fucking hate it.
Well, I think the people who hate it are the ones who love the animated series, and I think it's one of those ones where if like you aren't really the biggest fans of the animated series, you're never really connected with us. Whereas if it does,
No, you're frozen again. I will say this, Bossman, if you do come back, that what I've noticed is that the reviewers are not happy with it. So I watched people like Angry Joe. He's not too happy with it. Double Toasted's not too happy with it. There's a few people who don't think it's that good, which is kind of surprising. But the people who leave comments are very happy with it. Not everyone's super happy with it, but there's a lot of people who are in our position who didn't mind it. Yeah, there were some stupid things about it, but not stupid enough for me to dislike it. I very much appreciate that it had a fantastic budget. Had a decent cast. It was very hard not to like, and I very much appreciated it. But that's for another day, and we've already got a review of Cowboy Bebop on the tube, so check that shit out right now. Until then, because Bossman's decided to disappear with some technical issues, I'm going to end this as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never fucking heard of. We will see you guys later for some more reviews, more fan film reactions, more trailer reactions, more reactions to anything and everything, more debates, hot news, you name it, we got it. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.